Mothers, hide your fat daughters, cause daddy's home with another episode of Geno's Picks. Alright, let's get down to the nitty gritty. Did you hear what I said? I said gritty. And when I say grit, Carl, I'm talking about Keanu's asshole. I'm talking about a woman who deals with this man. Watch this. I'm going to tell you the secret to life. I'm talking about the crisis that's going on in this country. And when I say crisis, do I mean Kevin's wife? Of course I do. But when I'm talking about Kevin's wife, I think about all the good times that they've had. The times when, remember this, Kevin? Kevin, remember this. You gotta tell me you remember this. You had the best time ever when you were on the show and we were doing the football show. Let's get down to it. This is the week. What week are we in? We've only got a couple more weeks in the year. When you look at the lunar calendar, watch this, Kevin. I'm actually talking about physics, science, geography, all the things that Stuttering John doesn't teach his kids at his substitute teaching gig. And when I talk about a gig, have I mentioned that me and Kiki are going to be in Virginia Beach this December? Fantastic time to visit Virginia Beach. You know, a lot of people tell you, you should only go to Virginia Beach in the summer. And we say, fuck that. Because you know why? Because daddy do and daddy don't. And when you don't is when you don't make money. So let's get to my first pick. Daddy has always been told the number one secret in life is never, ever, and when I say ever, never, Kevin, watch this, I'm talking about betting on a black quarterback. And in this week, we've got Carolina versus Dallas. Two black quarterbacks. Who are we going to take? When you talk about take, you got to talk about the give and take that goes on between me and Kiki when we're doing a show. And she's in one room, I'm in the other, and you're hearing my voice like the voice of God. And when I talk about God, I'm talking about Allah. But I'm not necessarily talking about Allah. Listen, when I talk about God and we talk about Moses, we're talking about Moses Sampson, the number one guard in the history of the Washington Bullets. Now, when we talk about the Bullets, you gotta talk about Wizards, right? Because we had to change the name. But why would you change the name from the Bullets to the Wizards? It doesn't seem quite rational, does it? Not for Daddy. And Carl, I love you, but you can't go to Rochester without bringing a gun. Which is why they should change the name of the baseball team up there in Rochester from the Garbage Plates to the Rochester Guns. Or Bullets. Whatever. When I talk about guns, you can't forget the episode that Kiki did where someone was shooting outside her window. Not only did she not call 911 for help, but she's more man than Daddy be. Because Daddy would have been out of there like the 1983 Mets, out of there in the playoffs. I don't even know if that makes sense, but does it matter? No, because these are Geno's Picks.